Today I'm excited to show you how to make Melomakarona. It's one of those desserts that they are so satisfying and so good that I don't think you can stop eating them. I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you will have to decide on yourself. Anyways, I'll introduce the ingredients. It's the way I make Melomakarona, so I simplified the recipe and I made it much easier to make. Let me show you what I use. I use flour. I have 5 cups of all-purpose flour, which I'm gonna add to it 1 cup of farina. Farina is a flour that is milled differently. It is wholesome. It has a very high content of fiber and protein and magnesium, so it's actually very, very healthy. But it adds texture and what Melomakarona needs for it to be so wholesome and so delicious. So into the 5 cups of flour over here, I add 1 cup of semolina. And then I will be adding 1 teaspoon of both baking powder and baking soda. The baking soda, I will put it in the liquids, which I have over here. It's 1 cup of fresh squeezed orange juice and 2 cups of oil. Now I use half olive oil, half mazola. So I have 1 cup of olive oil, 1 cup of mazola. Into that, we will also add half a cup of sugar, some orange zest, and those are 2 oranges that I have squeezed to get the 1 cup of orange juice. So I have that. I have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cloves, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to show you how to stuff Melomakarona. So these walnuts are for later on to show you how to make stuffed Melomakarona, which is really, really awesome. That's it. We will start with the syrup because those macaroons, they will be dipped in syrup. And the syrup needs to be cold when the macaroons come out to dip them, because one needs to be cold, one needs to be hot. So if the macaroons coming out of the oven hot, I will need to dip them in cold syrup. For the syrup, I have 2 cups of sugar, which I'm gonna add about 7 or 8 cloves of cloves, couple of cinnamon sticks that I cut to shorter pieces. Into that I will add 1 cup of water, and when it comes to a boil, I squeeze a little bit of lemon juice and I add 1 cup of honey. I'm gonna start with the syrup. I will add 1 cup of water into the 2 cups of sugar that I have in here. Of course, we have also the cinnamon sticks and the cloves. And while this is on, I start with medium-low until the sugar starts dissolving. I'm gonna add also some orange zest, but I zest it with this gadget right here. And this is, I think it's beautiful because those little strings of orange, they will caramelize, they will become glazed with the syrup, and they will be hanging on the cookies at the end, and they will give a very visual beauty and a great flavor as well. I will give it just a little stir and wait for this to come to a boil. After it comes to a boil, I will put a tiny bit, about a teaspoon of lemon juice to keep it from crystallizing, and we will add the honey, 1 cup of honey. We don't want it too thick because we want it to be absorbed into the cookie. So I would say 2 minutes and it's good. Now at this point I'm gonna turn it off and I will add the honey to it. I will mix the flours together, and I also will add the sugar. So all dried ingredients actually I will have over here. I will also add the spices. Mix. I will add the baking powder, 1 teaspoon over here. Now the baking soda, I will add it into the citrus because I don't want baking soda lumps to be in my dough, and I also activate the baking soda while it's dissolving in the citrus. So I will add the baking soda over here and see how it bubbles. That's the baking soda is starting to activate, which I exactly need. Into this I will add also the olive oil and the mazola oil. Those are the liquids. I will also add the zest in there, and 1/4 cup of brandy. Now after I mix them like this, I will add the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. Okay, and we will mix. In the beginning it will feel as if you have too much liquid, but it will all be absorbed and you will have a perfect dough. The smell is so aromatic. It's the orange and the cloves and the cinnamon. It's just so warm. And you have a even dough. That's all you need. Let it sit for a few minutes because the semolina absorbs the liquid with time. So it will become drier dough and easier to maneuver. As you see, it's already a dough that I can shape actually. So I'm gonna start. It's just perfect as is. Now I'm gonna show you how I make my stuffed Melomakarona. I just take a little piece of the dough, about the size of a walnut. I shape it between my 4 fingers, just like that. I make a indentation in there. I take the walnuts and I put them inside, and then I fold the sides over the walnuts, and I flip, shape. This is the traditional look of a Greek Melomakarona macaron, just like that. So, but normally they don't stuff it. So the pan, it doesn't. You don't need to prepare it. The dough has enough oil, so it's not gonna stick. Just make sure you have about an inch between each. So this is one way to make them. And if you don't want to take the time and stuff it, you can also make them normal, regular Melomakarona, non-stuffed, and then you can sprinkle walnuts on top after they're baked. So I'll show you that too. Now that I have showed you twice how to stuff, I will also show you how to shape them easy without stuffing. When you are baking the Melomakarona, if you're making stuffed, make sure that the whole pan is stuffed, And if you're making non-stuffed, then the whole pan has to be non-stuffed. You cannot mix stuffed and non-stuffed in one pan because they take different times of cooking. Just a note. I'm gonna show you when the dough is rested, how easy it is. Very lightly, just swivel it on your, and then point the edges. So now I continue shaping my macaroons and I'll show you how they look after I'm done. Now I have took out the Melomakarona from the oven. Those are the stuffed ones. First, I will take out the cinnamon sticks from my pan so they are not in the way. Everything else is nice to keep. I will put the Melomakarona inside. Now they cool down, slightly cool down. They are warm to the touch. And I just soak them inside. And they're not very tender, so they are, feel free to put many of them in the pot. They're not gonna break on you or crumble. Let them sit for a minute or so to absorb some of that syrup. Now pull them out and just dump them on the platter you have. Since they are stuffed, you don't need to add more walnuts, but I always like walnuts, so I will sprinkle a little bit. And you can also put a touch of cinnamon on top. I'm not gonna be waiting. I want to try it. This is delicious. It's one of those things that you cannot smile while eating them. They're so satisfying and so delicious. You must try it. Really easy and fast. Try it and you will never be sorry.